ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dylan, and welcome to Dylan the Truth podcast. If you guys are new to this channel, I'd like for you guys to subscribe to this channel and also hit that like button. Deeply appreciated. Um, well, the playoffs is set. Um, they just finished with the the play-in tournament. So I'll just go by it really quickly of what happened in the play-in. So we'll start in the West with the 7 seed Los Angeles Lakers versus the 8 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. It was a pretty close battle. Minnesota was leading throughout the game. Lakers started to turn up their defense in the fourth quarter. You know, Shooter hit a big three, put them by three, and then Anthony Davis committed a dumb foul in the end, made Conley tie the game. They sent it to overtime, and then Lakers pulled away, won that game, so they move into the seventh spot, which they'll be meeting up with Memphis Grizzlies, and I will talk about that matchup a little bit later. The Pelicans versus the Thunder. Pelicans were the favorites going into this game. They lost to the Thunder 123-118. So Pelicans got eliminated. And then, there was a play-in. So basically, the winner of the 9th and 10th seed would face the loser of the 7th and 8th seeds. So the Thunder had to go up against the Timberwolves. Timberwolves blew them out 120-95. So that means Timberwolves will be facing the Denver Nuggets. Now move on to the East. Miami Heat versus Atlanta Hawks. Miami's number 7, Hawks number 8. The Atlanta Hawks beat Miami. They actually stunned them 116-105. Again, Miami was a favorite. They dropped that game, but because they lost, they still have a chance because they finished in 7th. So they would have to face the winner of this next matchup against the Raptors versus Bulls. The Bulls end up coming back from a 19-point deficit to beat the Raptors. What was the score? 109-105. So this sets it up for Miami to go up against Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls looked like they had the game, and then Butler with that willpower and obviously, got them over the hump. So they end up winning that game 102-91. So that sets up the matchup for Miami Heat. They will be facing the Milwaukee Bucks. They're number 1 in the East. And Atlanta will be facing Boston, which is number 2 in the East. Now, let's go to the matchups. Where should I start? I'll start off in the East. The Milwaukee Bucks against the Miami Heat. These teams are very familiar with each other. They faced each other the past couple of years. But if I had to pick, I'd say Milwaukee Bucks in 6, because Miami does play with a lot of grit. Like they're a gritty team. They're gonna fight. So I don't think they're just gonna go down that easy. So I got Milwaukee winning that series in 6. Then you got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who's 4th in the East, against the New York Knicks, who's 5th. This should be an interesting matchup. Cleveland Cavaliers really did turn it around. They got Donovan Mitchell, who's been playing out of his mind. They have a nice, good cast. Garland, they have a Mosley. They have a pretty good, solid squad there. And then you look at the Knicks. The Knicks plays really stingy defense. They got Bronson that's been balling. He's been their catalyst on the offensive end. You got Randall that's made it the All-Star this year, so he had a pretty good season. R.J. Barrett and the rest of the guys. Um, this is kind of hard to pick. They're kind of even, but if I have to pick one, jeez, I probably might go with the Knicks in 6. Yeah, I'll go with the Knicks in 6. I think they will finally get over the hump. That's just my feeling on that one. Then you got the Philadelphia 76ers, who's number 3 in the East, against the Brooklyn Nets, who's 6. Um, I mean, if you look at this matchup, I mean, Philly has the talent, obviously. You got Joel Embiid, you got James Harden, Maxey, Tobias Harris. Um, they're obviously a better, well-rounded team than Brooklyn. Brooklyn lost a lot of guys. They lost Kyrie. They lost Kevin Durant. Ben Simmons is not playing due to a back injury. Been a lot of drama with them, but they've been holding afloat in the conference. So where do I see this? I see this as a gentleman's sweep for Philly. There's no reason for them to lose this series. They should win this easily because Brooklyn Nets don't have anybody to guard Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is a 7-footer. He's that skilled. He, puts his mind to it. Get these guys in the post. It's a wrap. So I got them winning in the gentleman's sweep 4-1. Then you got the Celtics versus the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, if you look at this matchup, I mean, Atlanta is known for their offense. They're not really that good on defense. And the Celtics, on the other hand, is a great defensive team. And also, they're pretty good on the offensive end. Obviously, you got Jason Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Marcus Smart. There's a bunch of guys on there that you have to be a little concerned with. So, with that being said, I could see this series as a gentleman's sweep for the Celtics, 4-1. Atlanta don't stand a chance against this team. I'd be shocked if Austin loses this series. But yeah, that's my prediction on that one. Now we gotta head to the West now, the Wild Wild West. So we got Denver Nuggets, who's number 1 in the West, against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota could present a bit of problem for Denver due to their size, right? They got Rudy Gobert, they got Karl Anthony Towns. They're pretty big guys that could, make Jokic work a little bit on the defensive end because Jokic is not great on the defensive end. Offensively, I mean, he's just gifted. He could score. Obviously, his best attribute would have to be his passing. He could rebound. He's just a triple-double threat. But in order for Denver to get to the next level, yes, Jokic has to play great, but I believe Jamal Murray has to have an outstanding series, like from here on, in order for them to get to their goal, for them to, get to the finals. He has to play extremely well. And everybody else, you got Aaron Gordon, you got Porter Jr. I mean, this team is a well-rounded team, but they're not unbeatable. I could see how Timberwolves could actually present a problem for them because they do got size to match up with Denver Nuggets. But with that being said, I got Denver winning that series in 6. Just at the end of the day, I think their talent is just a little too much for Timberwolves. And I'm not a believer in Timberwolves because Timberwolves tend to do dumb things on the court, which causes them the game. They did this last playoffs against the Memphis Grizzlies, where they had double-digit leads in pretty much all these games, and they blew them. So I wouldn't put anything past the Timberwolves to make dumb plays down the stretch. Then you got The Phoenix Suns as fourth in the West. They will be facing the Los Angeles Clippers, who's fifth in the West. Um, this is a very interesting matchup because now you got KD, Kevin Durant against Kawhi Leonard. Even you could even put Kevin Durant against Russell Westbrook. They used to be teammates in OKC. So there's a lot of headlines going into this matchup, but it, it should be it should be interesting because if you look at as far as talent wise, obviously Phoenix got it on their end. You got Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, you got Aiton, you have Chris Paul. So that's their starting, their big four for Phoenix. The bench is okay. I'm not too thrilled about their bench, but because of their starting lineup, that will just get them over the hump. Now you look at the Clippers. The Clippers are a pretty deep team, especially on the wing position. They have a lot of guys that can defend. They could bother them a little bit, but ultimately I got the Phoenix Suns winning that series in six. Um, I mean, had Paul George played in this series, it could have been a little more interesting. But due to the fact that he's hurt and he won't be in the first round, that puts a lot of pressure on Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard's gonna have to do a lot more, like on both ends, on the offensive end, obviously, and on the defensive end. So I got the Phoenix Suns winning that series in six. Then you got the Sacramento Kings, who's number three, against the Golden State Warriors, who's the defending champions, number six. This might be the most exciting series in this entire playoffs. Both high octane offense, they could both score at will. Um, it's, I mean, it. I will lean towards Golden State only because they have the experience. They've been there, they've done that. Nothing really phases them. Sacramento Kings, I believe what's going to hurt them is their inexperience in the playoffs. I mean, they haven't made the playoffs since 2006. That was like when Mike Bibby and Ron Artest and who was the other guy? I think Brad Miller, if I'm not mistaken, was on his team. But yeah, that was years ago. That was the last time that Sacramento made it. They do have really good pieces. You got De'Aaron Fox. You got Sabonis. You got Malik Monk, Barnes. They got a lot of they have a lot of weapons, but they're on the other end. They don't really play defense. That's the big problem with the Sacramento Kings, and that's where I believe you know that's where the championship DNA from Golden State is going to kick in because they know when to wrap it up. They actually do play defense. Sacramento doesn't really play much defense, so they're gonna try to outscore you to basically win majority of these games. So that's why I got Golden State winning. I say in six. Um, if it goes to seven, I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm gonna say in six for Golden State. And then you got this series, the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Grizzlies is a number two, Lakers are number seven. This one I'm really looking forward to because the Los Angeles Lakers are my team. That's the team I'm rooting for. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Lakers fan, but I believe this is a bad matchup for the Memphis Grizzlies. Only reason why, because they're missing two of their bigs. That's going to be crucial for them. Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. Now we know that Jackson Jr. gets into a lot of foul trouble. They don't have backup bigs. And this is where I believe the Lakers will take advantage of that situation. Because Anthony Davis, Grizzly ain't got no answer for that guy. And then I don't know who, I guess they'll put Dylan Brooks on LeBron James, but then it's gonna take a lot out of Dylan Brooks. He's gonna be drained. Um, I mean, I'm not too worried about him on the offensive end. He can be a bit streaky, but I know their hopes, Grizzlies, are all pinned on Ja Morant. Now, it's gonna be hard to contain him. I'm not gonna lie, um, because he's that explosive. He really knows how to get to the rim and whatnot. But he's not like a traditional playmaker. His playmaking, yes, he does average like maybe I don't know 7 or 8 assists, but his playmaking is more like he passes when he's sort of like in trouble. Like he's not like gonna set a play for somebody or be like a playmaker like Chris Paul. Like sees the play ahead way before they even set the play. Like that's the type of point guard I'm talking about. But that's not Ja Morant. Ja Morant's an attacking point guard. He wants to get to the rim. His shooting is a little spotty, so I think Lakers' strategy is to make him shoot outside jumpers. If he, beats you with that, I mean, anybody could live with it. And then you got Baines, that's a shooter. Basically, you just have to run him out the 3 point line, make him a driver. He does get called for like a couple of offensive fouls because he loves to use his offhand. Like I said, Dylan Brooks is a little streaky, but they'll leave him open. But he's a pesky defender. That's what he is. That's his bread and butter. Then you got Jones that comes off the bench. Arguably the best backup point guard in the league. So they got a lot of weapons, but again, it's kind of like the Sacramento Kings series. Yeah, they had a couple of experience in the playoffs, but I feel because LeBron has been there and he's been through every situation, and you got AD as well, and they're gonna be leading the Lakers. I got the Lakers winning this series in 6, honestly, because everyone's saying, "Oh, the Lakers are gonna get smoked." They're just only looking at the names on the paper and the record. I'm looking at the matchup, and this is not a good matchup for the Grizzlies. So I got the Lakers winning in 6, and that is my prediction for this year's playoffs so far in the first round. And then I'll get back to basically I'll talk about some of the games, maybe not all of them, but that's my prediction on what the playoffs is going to be and who I feel is going to move on to the second round. I would like to thank everybody for tuning into this video. Till next time, peace.